What's up, YouTube crypto friends? Dylan here. Just got off doing some work, and I was been wanting to make a video. I want to do a live video, but haven't had a chance because of all the craziness in crypto, which is wild, and it's why a lot of people are in love with it, and it's also why a lot of people are scared of it, and there's a lot of fear and everything. So let's talk about the big Bitcoin crash that just happened, and it went down all the way to like 30,000, something wild, and billions of dollars went out of the market. And if you're hodler, I personally lean more towards hodling and less towards day trading. So I'll discuss kind of the strategies and mindsets behind doing those two, and the different coins involved in that in this video. So if you're a hodler, like, you might have seen your position just totally get almost wiped out. And if you're a pro, right, and you're a hodler, you don't worry. If you are a newbie, right, you're new to the industry, you're new to crypto, and you don't have diamond hands, as they say, you might, hopefully this didn't happen to you, but you might be in a position where you sold and you took a loss, and then hopefully you didn't sell close to the bottom, because those losses you took there, immediately they were offset, right, with the bounce. And so it's just wild. So first, let's talk about like why this happens in crypto, and in general, why it's so volatile. Because it's so volatile because you don't have these big institutions. Like, you do have some hedge funds and whales and stuff investing in it, but you don't have a ton of big stable money stabilizing the market, right? Part of the reason why larger markets don't have these equities and things like that, bonds don't have these massive swings, is because of the amount of people and institutions that are invested in them, and the amount of trading that's done in these markets kind of helps stabilize the price. And there's a little more certainty as to what things should be valued, right? Because they've been looking at these things for years and years and years. So there's a lot more information and data and certainty on like what things should be valued relative to the other things. Crypto is a whole new beast. So part of the reason you see these big price swings is because crypto is new. It doesn't have as much money in it as a lot of these other industries. It doesn't have as much big institutional wallets involved in it, right? It has some, but it doesn't have as much. And so you get a lot more recreational investors in it, and who can buy and sell small amounts here and there with the click of a button on their phone. So that's also contributing to it as well. It's so easy to create a position and then exit that position with crypto. Like, there's not a lot of hoops you have to jump through. You can just have it on your phone, right? You can buy it on PayPal, you can buy it on Coinbase, you can buy it on Robinhood. So that makes a difference, right? The ease of access to it is one of the very powerful things of crypto, right? The ease of access of sending money, receiving money anywhere in the world is awesome, right? There's a lot of value in that. But also, that ease of access makes there be less barriers for people to get their money in and out. So it's easy when there's FUD, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt displayed on the TV, or when you see the market crashing, for you to be like, oh crap, I made the wrong decision. Especially if you're newer, all the noise is saying crypto's a bubble, it's gonna pop. Like, it's just a scam. It's not gonna last. All this stuff, right? That's all the FUD. And if you're coming from that background, you may not have washed that all out of your mind. And so it's really easy to get in a position and not think about it very much, and then see it's going down and be like, oh crap, I don't want to lose all my money, so I'm going to exit that position. And that's the last thing you want to do in these situations. Is if you're really smart and really on top of it, you would have sold right when it was high, and then you would have waited for it to just drop a ton, and you would have bought back in. The only problem with that is, like I said in the beginning of this video, is that I'm going to talk about like hodling and then day trading. It's very hard to day trade, right? And it's different. Like, some people take a hodling approach, which is just buy and hold approach, and a slight day trading approach to their hodling, and that works out into be like they'll buy something without thinking about their position, their how much they're going to put, what they want to get out of it, right? They're not thinking about a lot of things that you need to think about when you're day trading. And I'm no day trader, right? Even though I have a background in trading and options, but it's been a while. But so people will just buy, and then they'll come back to it in a few days and be like, oh, it's not going up as fast as I like, or oh yeah, I got some profit, and or oh man, it went down. So then they take their money out, and they go through this cycle. The problem with that is you're not factoring in all the variables. There's a lot of costs to doing that. Even if you gain profits, you got to pay taxes on those profits. You can write off your losses, but you don't really want to get losses. And with the crypto market, of how it moves, if you're not used to that volatility and those fluctuations, you may sell right as something is dipping before it's about to skyrocket, right? So that happens all the time. So you got to keep that in mind. And I like to have it divided up and have clear. And where I've gotten in trouble is where I don't have a clear divide between like what things I'm going to try and day trade, or that I'm looking for more short-term gains, and what things I'm going to hold. So the easiest thing, right, is in this whole industry at this point in time is to buy Bitcoin. Like, this is the most conservative, with the lowest risk thing, to dollar cost average into Bitcoin and just hold it, right? And don't plan on using it, don't plan on selling it, don't plan on doing anything with it for 4, 5, 10, 20, 100 years, right? That's the easiest way to make sure you're making money, you're putting your money in your Bitcoin piggy bank, and you'll be good, right? Unless you believe that it's going to just crash and never come back. But that's the easiest way. Then the next one could be is like you can put some of your money in Bitcoin, and then some in the top 4 or 5. You can go top 10, but I'd say that's probably one level out. So then you can just hold, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin's a good, one that's associated with those. Cardano is now up there as one you can potentially hold. Although, as you start adding more and more coins in there, like, Ethereum is probably the second biggest one. And it still has a ton of risk and uncertainty in its future with the whole launch of Ethereum 2.0. So there's a lot more speculation as soon as you move out of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is a store of value, right? It's a store of value asset. And then everything else, like Ethereum is the leader in blockchain applications. And so everything else in that realm is a lot more speculative. There's going to be a lot more risk, a lot more volatility. And what's around today may not be around in 5 years. Bitcoin. So then I'll get back to the importance of Bitcoin and all this. But then you can hold those, right? You can diversify your investment and hold those. And then you can have ones where maybe you believe in some of the smaller cap altcoins, right? Further down in the top 100, or maybe even further. Like maybe you heard about a project, it's newer, but it has a well-known developer, and you like it, you believe in it. Well, you can put money in there, right? Totally cool. Like, you're supporting a business that you believe in, and that's pretty powerful. And you're putting your money where your mouth is, and I think that's cool. But just know that there's a lot of risk, and the project could be amazing, but if it never gets the momentum and takes off, like, it could just go to zero. So that's more, you run more of that risk as you go down, right? What they say is like asymmetric opportunities. So it becomes less asymmetric as you move down. I mean, you have a higher chance of it going to zero. The further down, the more alt you get with your coins, the further down the list of top 100, top 200, the smaller it is. It has a higher chance of going to zero and disappearing. But it also has a higher chance of like skyrocketing, or you getting a higher return. But it's a balancing act, right? You got to balance that risk with reward and how you want to allocate your money. So you could hodl those and just buy and hold, right? So buying and holding is the easiest thing, and then you could say, I'm going to sell those ones after a year or a month, or when I double my money. You can set those rules in play. But then you have day trading, and that's a whole other thing. And you should learn how to do it if you're going to day trade. If you're going to treat your cryptos and buy and sell with high frequency, you should learn how to do it right. And it's a skill, and there's a lot of good technical analysis out there, and a lot of good people that have programs like that. So be careful, be very discerning of who you pick. By the way, none of this is financial advice. So just that disclaimer here. This is all my opinion and insight. So anyways, you can find people to teach you how to day trade. Just know that that's what you're doing, right? Know that you're doing a day trading strategy. And as you get more skilled, maybe you can kind of blend hodling with day trading and moving money in and out of one coin to another coin and all that. But just you got to be aware of all the variables at play that are the key variables that influence you. And just know, like, the more you move around, right, and try to move your money and time the market and get cute with your positions, the more likely you are to either miss a huge upswing or sell when you shouldn't have sold and be out of the market at the wrong time. I think it was Tony Robbins who wrote his book, one of his recent books. But basically, he's like, you can't time the markets, and there is the best thing to do over the long term in a market is just be in the market, because you can't time it. You can try, and there's people that are good at it and make money here and there, but they also lose a lot of money. So as much as you can make, you can also just lose it in an instant. And so anyways, that's kind of my idea, my thought process on buying different cryptos, investing in them, and seeing them, seeing what are important and whatnot, and like making sure I don't lose all my money, and also make sure that I'm not super stressed out when you do see a crash like this, because these crashes like this have happened. They're not new. They're like this is good for crypto. It's good to reconsolidate Bitcoin. It's because it allows people to get, re-enter the market. It gives people a fire deal, right? It's an amazing deal to get in. And it also puts a lot of other coins on sale, so that if you believe in those, you just got a great buying opportunity, right? Especially if you believe in them 4 or 5 years out, right? You're like, wow, you're investing in this, and it's going to grow and scale, right? Keep in mind, it's a $2 trillion market, and what under that, $400 billion moved in and out of this market in a day, which was, basically, it was close to a quarter of, or a fifth of the total market value, right? That's a lot. But as this market grows and gets to 3 trillion, 4 trillion, 5, 10 trillion, like, more money can move, but it'll shift. It'll be a smaller and smaller percentage of the market, which will stabilize the market. So that's something we can look forward to in the future. Just don't buy into all the FUD and everything about, like, Bitcoin's going to 0, it's going to 1. It's not going to do that. It could go down, right? I can't see the future. But I think too many people believe in it, and too many people are utilizing it to have it go just completely to 0. Something would have to happen, either to drastic and just end it, or it had to be like a long, slow death. Like, it's here, but no one's really using it anymore. Everyone's over it, and just slowly money's pulling out, and then the die-hard people, finally pull their money out. That would be what has to happen, something like that. And I don't know if that's going to happen, right? That would be, that'd have to happen over the course of, 10, 20 years or more, right? But in the next 4 years, we're going to have another halving, which excites people. Like, every 4 years, there's been this, like, Bitcoin boom because of the halving of the Bitcoins and all this stuff. So, I doubt that's going to happen. Let's just say that. The chances of that happening are a lot less likely than the chances of Bitcoin hitting 100,000 in the future. Barring any sort of, like, black swan event that we couldn't foresee. Black swan, the thing, I think it was Nicholas Taleb. I think that's how you say it. I'm probably butchering it, but he wrote a book called Black Swan, and it's about the things that Black Swan events is like things that you can't foresee that happen that derail your plan, right? So it's like you can kind of plan that. You can only plan so much and cover so many bases, because there's so many variables out there that something could spontaneously come up that you couldn't have even foreseen if you tried. And that happens. So, which might be exactly what Bitcoin is for our financial system, was a total black swan event that is taking them by storm, which is why, I read an article about Bank of America saying that the long Bitcoin is the most popular position in the market, and that 75% of fund managers from this survey they did said that it was a bubble and it's going to pop. Right? That's coming from, like, Bank of America, one of the biggest banking institutions. Like, it's in their best interest to make you take your money out of crypto, because one, they could destroy their competition, that could loosen their hold on the market, right, if they can just eliminate crypto completely. But if they can't, then it allows them to gain more market share in that, right, to buy it up at a cheaper price, so that they have more power when it does manifest and take a bigger role in the market, right? Like, if you're a big institution and you see the writing on the wall, like, hey, this is coming, and either I can try to stop it, and if I can't try to stop it, I can try to grab power from it, so that I still have power when, my current position is no longer as relevant, right? So, and they have enough money to do that and resources to do that. So that's why, like, if you sold out your positions, you're just handing them Bitcoins at a super discount, right? They're crashing the market. They have enough influence that they can do that, and get away with it, and they have enough money they can buy in. I mean, wouldn't you rather, if you're spending $100 million buying Bitcoin, to buy it at 30,000 than buy it at 40,000? Like, I would, right? And I don't have $100,000 I'm putting in Bitcoin today. I wish I did. Or $100 million. I don't have that. Like, but you'd rather buy it at a cheaper price. Really, like, simple concept. But I'll finish off with this, and what this crash represents is, notice how there's all these other altcoins, and they're almost like mini religions that people think about, and they have it, and all that. And it's cool. Like, you believe in something, you found something that resonates with you, or that you can, a movement that you can be a part of. That's valuable for a lot of people, especially in the world that we live in right now. Like, all the craziness, it's important to find a community and all that. But you see, and so people like to say Bitcoin's outdated. Bitcoin is old technology. It's a dinosaur. It's too expensive. It's too slow. There's better things out there. And to some extent, they might be right with, like, just on the surface with technological innovation, or certain, like, processing times faster, block size, all that stuff, right? They may be right technically, but empirically, when you look at what has happened and what Bitcoin has done, Bitcoin was the first $1 trillion crypto, right? And when Bitcoin moves, everything else moves. You'll look at the charts, you'll go to CoinMarketCap and look at the 24-hour charts, and they all are like the exact same as Bitcoin, right? All following a similar trajectory as Bitcoin. So they're all priced off of Bitcoin. They're all based off of Bitcoin. Without Bitcoin, there's none of these other ones, right? They don't exist, right? Bitcoin spawned them all, and Bitcoin, as this crash demonstrates, and we'll see how things go in the future, but Bitcoin controls every other coin, right? So this is like it. I guess this is just I'm trying to figure out the right way to say this, but don't let the importance of that be lost on you. Don't neglect Bitcoin. Like, I guess neglect it, or don't consider it at your peril, because if something, just by the fact that it goes down in value, takes the entire market down in value, what happens when it goes up in value? It's going to take he'll take the entire market up in value, right? It's controlling everything else. And when that happens, it's like, what do you want to invest in? What coin do you want to put your money on? The one that is dependent on the other coin, or the coin that controls every single other coin, right? Which is the winner? Which is and this is something that Michael Saylor talks about. He's like, in crypto, it's like, I am sure that Bitcoin, like, he's so sure that Bitcoin's the winner. He has 111,000 Bitcoins and keeps buying more. And he's like, it's just going to eat the lunch of every other crypto, right? It's just going to take over, because as an investor and as an institution, you're looking at these and you're like, well, I know the space is getting bigger. I know it's becoming more relevant. What is the best bet for my business? And what's the best risk reward return on these things? And it's like, only one crypto controls the price of every single other one in the market. Ethereum went down just like Bitcoin, like the same path as Bitcoin. So you're thinking, and this is a lot of money they're dealing with, they're like, well, I'm just going to put my money in Bitcoin, right? And so as more and more institutions come to that conclusion, like, hey, I want to be in crypto, and crypto is already more risky than any of their markets. It has more risk, more volatility, and all that to it. I'm going to pick the most likely to win and the least risky of all the cryptos. Well, that's going to be Bitcoin. And the more and more money that goes into that, the more and more of a Bitcoin standard, really good book, The Bitcoin Standard, but more of a Bitcoin standard comes into play, and more it's going to make other coins priced off of Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin is going to have its niche in the market more and more solidified, right? As more money goes into Bitcoin, right? More money will go into the other coins as well, but their market cap, their potential, like, they'll have to completely overrun Bitcoin, and none of them are even at that level. They're not. None of them. Ethereum got up to about 500 billion, close to that in market cap. So that was the closest one, but it still didn't do it, and it still showed that Bitcoin's dominant over Ethereum. So to close this out, don't get stressed with these crashes, right? Just enjoy yourself, enjoy life. And, if you're worried, you're freaking out, you're watching the prices, go on a walk, go on a run, get a workout in, turn off your phone, right? And you're only going to lose money, right? If you take your money out and you don't believe that, because you don't believe that crypto is going to come back and it's going to be bigger next year or the year after than it is this year. If you leave your money in, it's fine, right? Just let it sit there. You won't be taxed on it. Like, it's good. You still have your cryptos. People like to say, start seeing the world in Bitcoin, right? How much Bitcoin would that cost? How much Bitcoin will that cost in a year or two from now, right? If I just save my Bitcoin in a year or two, like, can I buy that thing, right? How much does that truck cost in terms of Bitcoin today? How much will that cost in Bitcoin in 3 years, right? If I put my money in Bitcoin instead of that truck, right? If I do that, could I buy Bitcoin? Could I have my Bitcoin and then buy 2 trucks, 3 trucks, a house, right? So you start seeing things in terms of Bitcoin, how many Bitcoin you have versus fiat dollars, which we know fiat dollars are a problem and they're being devalued every single year, and they're going to continue to be devalued. So, do you really want to take your stuff out of an asset that isn't going to be devalued and put it into an asset that is? You got to ask yourself those questions, and you can believe those statements or you cannot. You can find your own facts. Just do your research and, have fun with crypto. See it as a long-term play. Don't get stressed out with these crashes, and just don't sleep on Bitcoin, right? It's still number one for a reason, and I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty exciting. I think all of the craziness in the markets and all of that, I think it's a fascinating thing to be tuned into and to watch, if that's your thing, if you're interested in that, because it's like transformative. It's just wild. So anyways, I've been talking a lot. Let's just end this. Hopefully you have a great day. Go out there, de-stress. Don't let these wild swings in cryptos psych you out. Have those diamond hands, hodl, and just have fun with it. So hopefully you found this video valuable. If you did, like, subscribe, comment below. And with that, I'll catch you later. Peace.